Good afternoon. Welcome back to Arena Football League Outsiders, weekly update number 4 for 2016. Hope everyone had a good week, is in a good mood for football. We got less than a month till kickoff. Actually, it's 30 days. 30 days from today, we will kick off on Friday night, April 1st. 7 o'clock is the Philadelphia Soul at the Cleveland Gladiators. Unfortunately, it will not be on national television, so make sure you go out and get ESPN3, which is basically, as long as you have one of the major cable carriers or DirecTV, you'll be able to get it. You can stream it. Just go to ESPN3.com or watch ESPN.com. All right, let's get the show rolling, shall we? It's been another slow week of news. It's so close to training camp starting, so there's not a lot going on. But luckily, for you and for me, I do this show on Wednesdays, and this is the second week in a row where the biggest news story of the week dropped Wednesday morning. So luckily I have a lot to talk about today, and let's get into it. So, news and notes of the Arena Football League for this week. Biggest thing, like I said, is today the Arena Football League announced their rule changes. Their competition committee and board of directors and all them got together last weekend and hashed out their rule changes. There are 5. They didn't announce the entire list of rules that are changed, but they did announce, like I said, 5 notable ones. Let's get into it. So, number 1, I'll read it just like how they released in the press release on arenafootballleague.com. Number 1, eliminating booth reviews during nationally televised games. There will no longer be officials' reviews within the last minute of each half during nationally televised games. Challenges for all games will be controlled by the head coaches, even inside the final minute. Each team gets 2 challenges during regulation time. If the challenge is successful in both instances, the team will earn a 3rd challenge. I gotta say, when I first read this, I thought it was something completely different. I thought that they were saying that in the rest of the games, you could have booth reviews in the final minute, but nationally televised games, they weren't. That it was going to be head coaches only. So I had this whole rant going. I even posted it on arenafan.com, but luckily, one of the mods over there, Rep Pact, he set me straight and explained it, that it was actually the other way around. So prior to this year, all the other games that were not nationally televised, in the final minute, there was no booth review. It was only the coaches. Only the nationally televised games had that, which I had no idea. I've been watching for a couple of years. I didn't even realize that, and I've been watching a lot of the ESPN3 games. But this is a great rule change for basically league integrity issues. Instead of saying, hey, you're on national TV already, so we're also going to throw you a bone by giving you booth challenges. So I love that they brought this in and saying, hey, no, every game should be ref the exact same amount of challenges. This is a great change. Again, if you see this Red Pact over Arena Fan, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I would have made a pretty big fool of myself and would have looked like an idiot and would have been completely wrong in this whole video. So appreciate it. Thanks again. Let's see. Looking at rule change number 2, the ball carrier loses his helmet. Play will be called dead. Anytime the ball carrier loses his helmet during the play will be shut down immediately, with the ball being spotted at the point where the helmet came off the player. Now, I pulled up the rule book from last year. I did searches for this. I found where it said in the 2015 rule book that this was already a rule. It was already, if a helmet came off the ball carrier, that the play would be called dead and the ball would be spotted right where the helmet came off. So I'm not exactly sure why this was listed in the notable changes, but just wanted to let you guys know, because that's what the AFL posted. So, but there's not really much else to say about it since it's a rule that already existed. Number 3, dangerous plays pulling players off the pile. If a player or coach attempts to remove an opposing player from a pile-up, it will result in a personal foul penalty. This one is what it is. You get a personal foul, you can't pull someone else off from the other team, whether you're a coach or player. I think it's a good rule. Emotions are usually high right after a fumble, especially if it's towards the end of the game, because that could be obviously a big difference between who wins and loses the game. So it's a good rule. It should lead to maybe less fights, less delays of the game, having the refs have to keep players away from each other and ejections and all that. So I think it's a good rule. It's not a huge rule, but I like it. Number 4, onside kick blocking. Both teams are allowed to initiate blocks immediately after the ball is kicked. So, like I said, I looked at the rule book. Prior to this year, players on the kick team could not initiate contact with the receiving team until the ball traveled 10 yards. Now, as soon as the ball is touched, there can be contact. So, the good part about this is it should lead to more onside kicks being recovered and being successful, because I don't know what the stats are, but I'm sure there was a lot of times where a player or a team got the onside kick and they whistled it dead because it was contact initiated by the kick team. Plus, this also creates a new play and a new strategy for the kick team, doing what the CFL, with the NFL, what college, pretty much all other levels of football. On an onside kick, you have a designated set of players that would just run right into the receiving team. That was their whole job, is basically be a wedge buster. So basically, this is now allowed in Arena League. So you're going to see 2, 3, maybe 4 players that are just going to run straight at the other team, at the receiving team. They're not going to look at the ball. They're not going to try to receive the ball. They're just going to be there to knock out that first line of defense for the receiving team. So again, this should create more successful onside kicks, which is great. It's always whether you're, like I said, whether you're watching NFL, CFL, college, high school, onside kicks are always fun to watch. On top of that, the rule change number 5, I think, coincides with rule change number 4. So rule change number 5 is kickoff alignment. Kicking team is limited to having a maximum of 5 players on either side of the kicker at the time the ball is kicked. 5-yard penalty for illegal formation if violated. So I looked in the rule book. I didn't see anything in there about player alignment before. I don't remember from last year if everyone lined up on one side or not, but it sounds like that's how it used to be. But now it's only 5 on one side, which again I think coincides with rule change number 4, because if you were able to initiate contact from the moment the ball is kicked, and then you put all of your team on one side, then that's just going to be a huge scrum like in rugby. So this is, I think, a player safety rule change, but I also think on top of the other change that this could also create another strategy of, instead of kicking it right to on the side of, you have 5 players or whatever on one side, now you could have kickers kicking it back left, doing different kinds of tricks and stuff to try to obviously fool the other team. But I think that should actually be probably just a note to the last change. But it is a change, since like I said before, I don't believe that there was a rule before about how many players on each side. So it is what it is. Again, if it helps create more onside kicks and create more successful onside kicks, then I'm all for it. This should be fun. It means more scoring, which is what the AFL is about, right? So that's basically it for the notable changes that the AFL announced today. If you want to take a look at the rule book, just check out arenafootball.com. Just make sure you have a Adobe reader, whether it's the official Adobe reader or some kind of third-party software. But you click on the rule book link on their website and it'll just pop up a PDF. So if you don't have a PDF reader, then I'm pretty sure Adobe Reader is free. If not, there's many free ones out there. Just pick that up before you go, otherwise you're not going to be able to read it. The other big news is to follow along with last week's theme of training camp announcements. We got 2 more this week, the Jacksonville Sharks and the Orlando Predators. First up, the Sharks. They will begin training camp on March 11th. Looks like they'll do a few meetings and classroom stuff at the Ramada Inn in Jacksonville. and that the practices will be held at multiple spots during training camp. So I'm not gonna tell you all of them. I'll put the link below. You'll be able to go in there and check out all the different places that they're going to be practicing at. But the notable part about the announcement is they are going to be having an exclusive ticket pickup and meet and greet at the Plantation Park for 2016 season ticket holders only, that's pretty cool. Tickets and gifts will begin at 9 a.m. and last until noon. Coach Les Moss will appear. Obviously, it's a open practice. He'll speak at 11:30, and after that, there'll be an autograph session up until the end of the event. So if you're a season ticket holder, it looks like it's going to be a fun time. Special stuff just for you being a season ticket holder. I remember I was a season ticket holder for the Lions when I lived up in Michigan, and they had a couple of these, and they were awesome. It was awesome being able to go to autograph sessions and meet and greets and all that kind of stuff. So take advantage of it. Not all the teams do this. So if you're a Sharks fan and you're a season ticket holder, I'd definitely make sure I'd go to that. Check the link below for information. And the other team that I mentioned, like I said, is the Orlando Predators. They will begin camp on March 9th, but the press release didn't announce a location, so I'm not sure where they're going to be doing it. The one thing that they did announce was they are also having some kind of season ticket holder event at the Orlando Citrus Bowl. Now, this is the same location that the Citrus Bowl game for college football is held at, and I was actually there this year for the Michigan-Florida game. My dad got us all tickets. We went down there, watched Michigan pound Florida. It was amazing. That stadium's pretty cool, so it's a pretty big spot for Arena League event too. So if you're in the area and you're season ticket holder for the Preds, why not? Just like with the Sharks. I mean, there's 2 teams that do it. I know for sure not all 8 teams do it. But they mentioned, says here, that the event is open to the public, which is kind of a contradiction. You know, it depends on how you read it. It looks like it's supposed to be a season ticket holder only event. They say that, and then they also say it's open to the public. So there's a contact name in the post, so you can look it up and maybe ask them, get some clarification, so you don't just show up and they ask you, where's your season ticket holder invoice or something like that. But basically it says it's open to the public, will feature a live inter-squad scrimmage as well as a post-practice autograph session, food and drink, and an inflatable bounce house along with additional entertainment, which sounds pretty, like I said, this sounds pretty cool to have a little party before the season starts, especially for an Arena League team. I'm not a fan of the Preds, but if it really is open to the public and I live down there, I know for sure I'd be going to that. One, it sounds like good PR for the Arena League, and 2, just it sounds like a blast. Sounds like a party, and there's football involved. So what else is there to do, That's it for the news this week. A lot of other small stories, but nothing really that big. Normally in this spot I talk about transactions, but this week there were only 4 total for the entire league, and none of them were of note. AFL didn't post any, Arena Fan didn't post any, so there's really not much. There's none. I'm not going to bring up any of those 4, because who knows if those players will even be on the team. So if neither Arena Fan or ArenaFootball.com want to post about it, then it's probably no point in really talking about it. But I'd expect this section to ramp up a little bit the rest of the month, just knowing that training camps are starting, players are going to start getting hurt, teams are going to start figuring out what they have, who they need, and all these players on the 4 teams that left, there's not a lot. It wasn't a huge amount of those players that moved to other teams. So there's still the Eric Myers of the world out there. So definitely take a look at that and keep your eyes open for that guy. I mean, he's a Arena League MVP. So it'll be interesting to see how this month plays out. And like I said, this might end up being the biggest section of the weekly update here in a couple weeks. But as far as this week, there's nothing. But that about wraps up this week's update. Remember, next week I will preview the National League, which is the Arizona Rattlers, Cleveland Gladiators, Los Angeles Kiss, and the new rebranded Portland Steel. And then the week after that, I'm going to do the American Conference, which is Jacksonville Sharks, Orlando Predators, Philadelphia Soul, and the Tampa Bay Storm. And then followed, of course, the week after that is my prediction show, where I go into how I think the playoffs are going to go and who my Arena Bowl 29 champion's going to be. As always, make sure you check me out on Twitter at Arena Football Outsiders, but it's spelled Arena FB and then Outsiders without the E, so OUTSIDRS. Check me out on there. I'm posting on Arena Fan, I'm posting on Reddit, all those things, so check me out, share it, let me know if you want to be involved in the show at all, and yeah, let's just get a community going. There's not a huge community for arena football, and I would love to see it going. YouTube's a great community. I've been a part of other communities on this site, whether it's the Lions or some video games, stuff like that. So let's get a community going. Let's get some discussion going. Post your comments. What do you want me to change? What do you want to talk about? Help me help make this channel better and help make it more of a community channel, not just me. So that's it. Until next week, I am the Arena Football Outsiders by myself. Enjoy your week, everyone. And remember, 30 more days and the Arena Football League will be kicked off, and we will be able to talk about the game of football, not just the transactions and news stories. Take care, and I will see you next week.